Hi guys, in today's review we'll be on a new tooled steam locomotive from Accurascale or Accurascale, depending on your preference. And this new tooled item was announced in March 17th, 2023, and it is the book jumper. So I have gone for the Lner J67/69 class 060T Great Eastern number 84. The product code is ACC2426. It is in the Great Eastern Railway Ultramarine Blue. It is Era 2 and it came out July 2025. Again, I do like my pre-grouping locomotives and liveries, so this was a must for me, and it covers the LNER as well. So let's get into the review and see what it's all about, showing if they are any good. So with the model, you do get quite a lot of leaflets and detailed parts to add yourself. You also get a sound card, tell you what the function are if you're into your sound. But I'm not, so I'm not going to show that. So we do get metal tweezers, and these tweezers are basically to help you pull the board out of the front of the locomotive if you want to chip it later on in life, or just change the chip. It also helps with the destination boards that you get, which is a good touch. The tweezers are metal, they look quality. You also get a card that says you must read the instructions on the reverse of this card before operating your model, and it's basically telling you not to use old models like H&M clippers and Duef stuff and old controllers. Basically tells you to use more modern ones, which I should be fine. I used a Gauge Master Combi, but you always get that with a Accurascale model. You get, which I believe would be like in the style of a old-fashioned manual owner's guide that if you're driving real life you'd get, and inside it has a few bits of history, some nice pictures, which I won't show because I don't want to get done for copyright issues. And there is also maybe some Easter eggs for what is later in batch 2 or 3 of this model. Again, they are in there and they are good clues. The loco manual itself is quite big. I think it's A5 or A3 size. It's massive. If I've got that wrong, I apologise. So on the front you have a picture of the actual model that I have. Tells you how to unpack it, as safety operation, as how to use it, check for electrical connectivity, clean wheels. Again, that's on the first page. And then inside, which is massive, you have the exploded diagram of the locomotive itself, all the part numbers. You also have, if you have issues or warranty issues, where to go, somewhere to scan to get more details and where to add them, I believe. And there's a few other things as well, but the list of parts that's in it is quite big. Then on the back, it's more of the mundane stuff, which is the lubrication, where to lubricate, what type of oils to use at certain parts, general care, acknowledgement who helped do the project basically, warranties and spare parts. Again, how to remove the body shell. How to remove the body shell is quite interesting because there is something they have missed out, I believe. So you want to do the 2 screws at the front of the model, I believe, and then you have one underneath the bunker. You take them out, but you also take out the DC board that's in the front of the locomotive. You want to do the door and take it out, otherwise you will wreck your models. I don't think it says it in the instructions, but please be careful of that. And then fitting figures and stuff like that. And then we come to the most impressive part of the model so far, which is the detail bag. It may look small, but you do get a few parts in there. So you get etch number plates for the cab side. They are metal. You also get, I think, hook and chain links for the back and front. And there's a few other parts that I'm not too sure what they are for, but you get 5 individual things in it. Again, they're all quality stuff, all nice stuff. Also in the detail bag, you have, I think it's about 12 destination boards. And you also have a blank one as well. So I'll go through a few of these destination boards. And these destination boards are metal, by the way. And they have a little handle on top that you use the tweezers to change it over. So you have Place Gates, Chinford, Liverpool Street, which I believe is already on the locomotive, but you've got spare. Seven Sisters, Enfield, Loughton, Enfield Town, Chestnut. You also get 2 blank ones as well. Woolwich, Epping, and Gospel Oaks, I believe. And there's a few others. They're just a few I've named. Like I said, they are metal. All of them are metal. And it's a fantastic touch. So moving on now to the front of the locomotive. This model does have the usual standard stuff that we expect in 2025, and that is an M coupler with its pocket already applied and some guard irons knocks off the tracks. Moving on up, we do get to the buffer beam. The buffers themselves are sprung. I believe they are metal and they are painted black. On the buffer shanks or housing, I believe we've got some lining on there, and they are all in red with a few rivets dotted around. On the buffer itself, we have the number, which is 84 in the correct font. We also have a separate applied, I think it's metal hook in the centre, and I think a steam pipe or vacuum pipe as well. And then in the left hand corner of the buffer, you also have a O, I believe, from what I can see here, and the lining around the outside of the buffer is white and black. Moving on up, this is where it gets interesting. So the door of the smokebox door does open. It comes off completely, it's magnetised. So you want to get in there and change the DC chip or whatever sound, you can do that very easily. You don't need any fancy tools, just come straight off. So we do have 3 lamp irons above the buffer beam. Then either side, there is like a matte finish, and in the centre it's like a gloss, I believe. And I believe all the lamp irons are separately applied as well. We have, I think, sanding boxes either side of that too. Then we come onto the door, like I said, it is removable, it is a separate piece. We have a separate applied smokebox dart. We also have the hinges painted in silver along with the dart too. And then we have a destination board, I believe. And these are separately applied because you've got a load more in the detail bag. And this one says Liverpool Street, with a little handle to use for your tool, which is also used for your DC chip to pull out. Then at the top we have a wonky lamp iron, but we also have a plastic handrail as well. And then we've got the chimney too. As we now come on to the side of this tank engine, there is some differences with the sides. So around the other side, as far as I'm aware, you do have a pump, a Westinghouse pump, I believe it is. Again, that's been lined, that looks to be a separately applied part as well. And then around this side, the only other difference is the toolbox at the top near the cab. Again, that's another separately applied part that's not on some other of the classes as well. So this is an Era 2 livery one in the Great Eastern Railway blue, ultramarine blue. This is a Great Eastern class R24 designed by James Holden, later classified under the Lner as a J67 or 69 after the rebuild. So between the chimney area and the tanks, we do have some metal work which looks to be plastic. Nothing wrong in that, it keeps the cost down. There also like to be 2 sort of like reverser rods type things, I want to call them. They are there. We also have some copper or gold piping going up into the boiler as well. Between the boiler and the frames, there is some moulded motion inside, but it's not painted red or anything like on other locomotives. It could be correct. The tanks themselves are in the blue with the initials of the Great Eastern Railway on there. There's tons of lining. We also have lining on the boiler as well. There's a few handrails dotted around. We have a handrail by the side of the cab. They seem to be plastic as well. And then also by the side of the cab we have some steps. We also have a number plate which is 84 in red. If you want to add the one that's in the detail bag, you can. We have red rods here. It is a 060T. The wheels are lined and they are blue and they are correct. With all the lining, I think the axles have been covered up as well. If you look beyond the wheels, you can see some underframe detail from like the ash pan and stuff like that. That's all been moulded in down there. It's a great touch, but you see it when it's going around? Probably not. And then we have some more steps as well. The sanding boxes with the sanding pipes, they all line up with the wheels, so do the brakes as well. As we now move on to the part that most people look forward to in a modern day steam locomotive, and that is the cab detail. First things, the roof does remove. It is 4 magnets holding it on. It's quite easy to take on and off. The roof itself inside does have some wood panelling, and I think it's in cream. There should be 4 magnets holding it on. So the most disappointing thing about the cab area is that it does have a flickering firebox or glow, but it's only with sound models. It will work. So that means the LEDs are built in, but for anyone who I believe is analog and DCC, it will not work as far as I'm aware. Again, that's a great shame. So let's start with the back of the cab. The back of the cab does have a chute. We also have an indent in the cab wall for the handle. I think it's for the water or the brakes. Again, the brakes handle does seem to be separately applied. We have a wood flooring colouring going on the floor. We also have a turning wheel in there. We have a water gauge with acrylic water in by the looks of it. Copper piping, brass piping, wood texture, a few seats, a few dials. We also have flush glazing that's separately applied to all of the windows that are like spectacles. If you look closely enough, you probably can see the LED inside the firebox. And if you look closely around some of the walls of the cab, you can see where it is for other models that that Accurascale do in this range. Again, you can only see it, I believe, from the inside, so it's not too noticeable from the outside. But yeah, the cab is highly detailed. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's just a shame about the firebox glow. As we now move on to the back of the bunker. The back of the bunker is much like the front, in that it has the NEM pocket coupler already applied to the locomotive, and I believe we also have some guard ice and knock stuff off the tracks. We have metal blackened sprung buffers. Again, these are in red. The buffer beam and housing is in red, and I believe the buffer housing does have a white line around it. On the buffer beam itself, we have a self-applied hook. We also have some vacuum pipe or air pipe there too. We have the number again, which is 84 in the correct font and style. The bunker itself is set back just slightly. We have 3 lamp irons there. We also have, which looks to be a destination plate at the back, which again is Liverpool Street. These are separately applied, like I said before. The back is lined and it is in the Great Eastern Blue, I want to call it. We do have a separately applied coil, which seems a little bit plastic, but that's fine. No issues with that. Then we have the spectacles. Again, they have a gold rim, and I think they also have the bars to stop cold going through. From here, I can't tell if they're separately applied or moulded into the glass. And the back of the cab, where the coal goes, is in black. On to the aerial view on top of this locomotive now. Let's start in the usual place, which is the coal and the cab roof. So there's no coal load in this model. Accurascale will like you to make your own because of all the different size bunkers they have, I believe. Is that what they said? Again, I prefer a coal load in, even if it's a small one, in. I understand there's quite a lot of detail on there. You got the chute coming out. There's a few other things as well. As for the cab roof itself does come off, like you've seen. It is in a white with a few black lines going around it. Again, the fitting of this is quite good. As we move on to the front of the cab as it is, we do have a vent that is fitted, that is a separate applied part. We also have some spectacles as well. Again, they have a gold rim around it. And I'm not too sure if the whistle itself is in metal or plastic, but it looks really, really good. We have a few piping as well. Then on one side we have a fireman tool box, I believe, and just beyond, if you look closely enough, there's a few holes. Again, I'm going to point them out because everyone pointed out on the Hornby Terrier, it's only fair. Again, the toolbox itself is separately applied and it is lined in the correct colours. The safety valve itself is a metal piece with a gold trim. The painting on that is quite well actually. Then either side of that, the tanks, we do have some sticky up points. I don't know what they are. Could be due with the condenser stuff. We have some lining, we have some rivets. We also have some water filler caps as well. Then we have this piece going from one tank to the other across the boiler. Again, it could be condensing stuff, it could be a feed. I'm not sure. And then we have a U-shape on one of the tanks. The dome itself is pretty close to the chimney. Again, that seems to be separately applied. We do have lining. The lining on this is red, black and red. And just before the chimney we have a gold band. And from here you can see the plastic handrails going around. And the Westinghouse pump, I believe, on one side as well. And then we get to the front where the chimney is, which the fit isn't too bad. There's a little bit of a gap, but isn't too bad. And then we have the buffers. And finally, we come on to the underneath look at this tank engine. So let's get the negative out the way for me. So to take the body off, you have to do, I think it's 2 screws at the back where the cab is and 1 at the front. But like I said at the start, please be careful and take the DCC plate out at the front of the locomotive in the Smithbox store. Please take that out, otherwise you will break your model. To take the base keep plate off, you have, I think it's 3 or 4 screws to take off, and then you've got these pipes that run across from brake rigging. I think they're glued on, so please be careful, you might have to undo all of them. It's not serviceable friendly in my opinion. We also have pickups on all the wheels. Again, these go up, this copper strip, it goes up. So if you do ever take the base key plate off, you will have to fiddle around with them. They will get stuck in your spokes. We do have NEM couplers at either end of the locomotive. One of mine looks a bit skew whiffed. There's sanding pipes, brakes and brake shoes, they all line up with the wheels. The wheels themselves are metal, but they do seem a bit dirty, a bit black and a bit scuffed. You can also see some separately applied piping around the locomotive as well, which is painted. Again, there's some on the chassis as well. It shouldn't interfere when you take the base key plate off. And then we come to the buffers at the end, which are lined. So yeah guys, that's it on the tracks. Next up will be the usual points and second radius. This being a small tank engine, I expect to do pretty well, so here goes. Not bad, a little loud if I'm honest with you. Just above the 20, and now backwards. Does seem to be running a little faster backwards. Again, it's around the 20 mark. So yeah, if I'm honest with you, it doesn't like second rages. It keeps stuttering on my track. It did it over the crossing. Points it managed it. When I did a practice run, it did stop on the diamond crossing. Don't know why. Maybe it's something to do with pickups. Well, that being said, next up will be some slow speed, and I find it a trained to pull. So here goes. Smooth. Just below 20. Smooth. It's quite smooth, got to be honest with you. Motor seems a little loud. So yeah guys, that's the end of the running session and the review. Before I give my opinion, I will tell you what it was pulling, which was inspired by a few photos I saw, which is the Rapido tram car for the J70 and a brake, four-wheeled passenger brake. Like I said, it was inspired by a photo that happened on the Lner and the BR when I looked for inspiration to do a running session with it. So before we come to opinions, the price of this was 140 from wherever you got it from. I do think the NRM one is £10 more, so it's 150 I believe. And yeah, the price isn't too bad, it's quite reasonable for 140. It is around the Oxford Rail area. If you compare that to more recent 060Ts that have come out, yeah, it's quite cheap. Normally about 170-ish, so yeah, it's pretty cheap. So my opinions on the model, this is my second one. My first one was, the only way to put it was a dog. It was missing a buffer at the back, a buffer at the front. The NEM pocket at the back was wonky. There were some glue marks and there was also some lining missing on the tanks. So I sent it back for a swap. And this is the swap. Again, the lampine is a little bit wonky. I can deal with that. Also in the box on this one, the roof and the cement box door was loose, bit strange. I believe the reason why the buffers were loose on the first one was quite simply the packaging was way too tight and it was quite a tight fit to get in and out, and it just popped off, or there wasn't enough glue. My other issues that I have with the model in general is the motor does seem a little loud for me. Hopefully that come up with the running session. And also the wheels are black. It's not just mine, it's others I've spoken to. Theirs is black too, and they've had to clean it to make it look decent. I don't know why. And I don't understand why there's no moulded coal load in the bunker. I don't quite get that, even if it's just a cheap and nasty one. Fair play, but I don't quite understand that. And also the flickering firebox doesn't work on analog, only works with sound, which it seems a backman idea if you ask me. I know these are first-world issues, I truly understand that, and I also understand that there's been a lot of love and care in the project and money well spent on the project, but for me, I'm just a little bit disappointed with a few issues of my models. It might not be the same for everybody, but with mine, I'm a little bit disappointed. It's more of an eye candy. Don't get it wrong, the paint job looks fantastic, but there's just a few things that are niggling with me with the model. Sorry, it seems a bit of a negative one, but it's only my take on the book jumper. Hope you find this review useful. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. So please take care and goodbye.